What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Roll Tide Cafe. I'm one of your hosts, Johnathan Lewis. As you guys can see here, we got a special guest on today, Coach Shawn. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know where we can find you and tell us your coaching credentials, Coach.
Yes, sir. My name is Coach Shawn. You can definitely find me here at JMHO Sports Talk. That stands for Just My Humble Opinion. Just My Humble Opinion. That's all it is, right? JMHO Sports Talk on YouTube and Twitter. Was very, very fortunate enough, man, to coach the A2 Eagles in 707 in leagues and coach at BJHS and James Clemens HS. Very under Coach Wardrop and Coach Nave. Shout out to both my former guys. Shout out to all the former players. Been very, very fortunate, man. Do 707 in Birmingham, Atlanta. A lot of youths, a lot of guys, a lot of kids.
Yep.
A few of them that was on our squad was at Alabama, Chadarius Townsend. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. Shout out to William Mean. Shout out to Alfred McCullough. You know what I mean? And my young homie himself, my young baller himself, Jaquez Watkins.
All right, guys, we're in here to talk some Jalen Milroe. I'm going to be asking Coach Shawn some questions here. He specializes in offense here, so I'm going to be asking some tough questions about Jalen Milroe because, look, there's some stuff going around right now. There's some stuff talking about Jalen Milroe possibly being the number one pick in this NFL draft. Some questions being asked. And I'm trying to get ahead of this thing and figuring out, could this thing actually be real? Or are we in a fugazi right now, right? So are we being blinded a little bit? So, and is it just clickbait? So with that being said, the first question right off the bat to you, Coach, is going to be one of the hardest in my opinion, and that is Jalen fundamentally better as a quarterback, or is it just a better scheme he's running and he's just a product of this scheme?
If I had to answer that, I would say both. I personally think it's a little bit of both. I think it's both because when I watch Jalen, a lot of things are different, man. His release is different.
Yeah.
His feet are not all over the place. His hips are actually pointing the way that he would like to throw the football. He's not throwing off his back foot as much. It's still some small things to clean up, but now he's on balance. He's on balance, man. Everything he's fundamentally his alignment is straight. Um, Everything that you have to do as a quarterback to provide accuracy, Jalen is actually doing now. His athleticism always seemed to usually take over last year,
Yep.
but now he's actually playing the quarterback position, and you can tell from his intermediate throws have gotten better. Right, they're not just wild throws with athleticism. He's actually doing things that line up within the realm of being an accurate quarterback outside of his feet. Right, and not just that, but if you look at the sets that we're running, the offense that we're running, empty sets always help Jalen Milroe. Remember, the more space you have, space helps all quarterbacks. Any quarterback would tell you the more space you can provide, the more accurate, the more easy it is to read things. Early check downs, you know what I mean? He's actually going through progression now, understanding progression. He's being patient now. I love it. Obviously, we all know better offensive line play always helps,
Oh yeah.
right? But I enjoy the fact that his feet are where they need to be. His feet, his lower body, his alignment, his release, and just a better all around accurate person, man. And if you want to be really technical, just from what I understand, the way I watch these guys, it looks like they're running a lot of West Coast concepts, a lot of stick routes. You know what I mean? Things
Yep.
like that we didn't do a lot of last year, if any, right? Throwing in the flat, screens, stick routes, teaching progression, letting them understand going from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, depending on what your progression is, having the check down actually be a progression, not just somebody run the check down. We don't even look at him. Not just a bunch of high lows on third down. We actually run a lot of mesh routes now. And my favorite route of all time, the post
Post
corner.
corner.
Yes, I get very excited when we can run a post corner,
Yep.
push invert to the post, not necessarily vert, but pushing to the post, right?
Yep.
If the defensive back closes space, you put your foot in the ground and you hit that pylon, right? Jeremy
Oh yeah.
Bernard style. And if he
Yep.
doesn't close space, you go ahead and throw the post route. So to me, that's my favorite route of all time, right? I'm a little biased, right? But Jalen
Yep.
Milroe now is a threat in immediately and deep route. He's not just a deep ball thrower anymore. This pass game should show you that, right? So I trust Jalen throwing the intermediate pass now. And he's accurate. Go ask Jam Miller on that when he brought the wheel route from the
Oh my
boundary.
goodness, bro.
Jam came from the boundary, hesitated. When he hesitated, he took off running on the wheel. Defender couldn't get there. The defender couldn't get there. Go back and watch and look where Jalen dropped that ball at. It
That
was perfect. Perfect.
the and it was great. Honestly, the defender was in great position.
It's a
Like
fact.
you couldn't play it almost any better than when he played it.
Yeah. Had his
It
back
just
turned though,
I
trying to
always
catch up.
what
Yeah.
they say, a better throw is always going to be better than better defense or something like that. So in my
Accurate pass
opinion,
is better than any coverage you can provide, right? So
there we go.
I think Jalen is right on schedule where he needs to be. I just hate the fact that we didn't have this offense and this competent offense the whole time Jalen has been our starter.
Man, and hopefully, hopefully it looks better moving forward here with future quarterbacks, right? So they're going to get to come into this scheme early on and go through this progression. Whereas Jalen had to see 3 different offensive coordinators. People tend to forget that he went through a lot of movement. He had one offensive coordinator, didn't even want him to be a quarterback. We won't get into that either. So he had to go through his stuff. But I want to bring up the Georgia game for one aspect of this. I'm not here to talk about Alabama, Georgia. I mean, it's part of it because that's when we're talking about Jalen possibly being the number 1 pick here. But guys, the one thing I'll say is this: the quick out route, the first one he threw to Ryan Williams all the way across the field and how accurate that was. That's a long pass, people. When you're talking about one hash to the other, right, on the other side of the field. And it was, I mean, how tough of a throw is that? It seems like you're throwing 25 yards to gain 7 yards, but you have to place that so perfectly, especially when you're talking about playing against man, right? So possibly playing 7 to 10 yards off the ball.
Yeah.
So, but with that being said, guys, moving on here. The next thing I want to talk about with Jalen, look, if there's one thing that is evident, in my opinion, this dude has swagger. He has confidence. It is all there. The team is together. The team fights not just for him, but together. And it reminds me, yes, it's not to the extent of literally fighting like the 80s Hurricanes did. We all know that story. But man, it's very almost reminiscent of a new age version of that, in my opinion. You look at even the halftime scrub a little bit. They get the foul, the flag through on him for the 15 yards.
Yeah.
Because people mouthing off to the wrong people. You're not going to touch our quarterback, which is kind of what happened there. People are going to defend people, right? So what do you think about Jalen Swagger and his confidence and how he's grown from last year to this year in that aspect?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it as long as we're not being disrespectful to the other
Yep.
team and cause things like that on the regular. I don't mind you showing confidence, man. I don't mind you. I mean, football is an emotional game. You have to try to play an emotional game without being emotional, right? It's very difficult to do. So I don't mind these kids showing exuberance when they make a play, right? You don't obviously don't let another team come over and rough your teammate up. You know what I mean? You got to send a message, man. Football is a very, very, very violent game. And a lot of it is mental. A lot of it is mental. Guys will talk to you throughout the game. Guys will try to be physical with you. So I don't mind that. I don't mind Jalen, bringing a little swag to it, little dance here and there. That's what the kids do nowadays, man. Right? I mean, it's not just college football. Go look at the NFL, right? So the younger kids try to emulate these guys who are getting paid to play this game we all love. So I don't mind it as long as we keep it clean and you celebrate with your teammates. I don't mind it at all. I think it's actually being gravitated. Everybody's gravitating to it. All the fan base, the younger kids, right? So they're not being disrespectful and being over the line. They're not doing things to bring shame to their last name. It's just having fun. It's just a quick celebration with the fans, with their teammates. And this is just the world we live in nowadays, unfortunately. But I think it's a good thing. And I love the fact that he has that swagger because it's infectious.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of trash talking, people.
That's
It's
a fact.
football at the end of the day. You know what I mean? This is a competitive sport. It's violent. You got to show a little bit, in my opinion. So, with that being said, moving on here, can Jalen realistically go number 1 in this NFL draft, guys? This is starting to really trend up a little bit because a lot of people are talking about Beck being the number 1, draft pick in this year's draft, and then all of a sudden people are like, "Well, Jalen just outperformed him in every way. It wasn't just him running. It was him throwing. It was ball placement. It was him going through his progressions. It was his mechanics. And all of a sudden, this is starting to steamroll a little bit, starting to catch up a little bit of attention, which is why we're making this video right now. But, Coach, do you see a possibility that Jalen could be the number 1 pick in this upcoming NFL draft?
Yes, I do. If Jalen play the way he played Saturday for the rest of the season, right? If Jalen keeps it right here and he progresses and gets better and better and does it against teams for the rest of the season, pretty much on anybody on our schedule.
Yep.
Remember, man, coordinators an offensive coordinator, every once in a while we'll see things. We'll see a corner on film that don't like to tackle. We'll see a corner that don't cover very well. But for the most part, during the grand scheme of a football game, coordinators attack concepts, man. Always remember that. And Jalen, right now, Jalen Milroe is of the mindset to where he's attacking concepts, not just out there going through one read and throwing it like last year, not getting happy feet and bailing after one read. No, sir. Jalen is attacking concepts, and I love it, man. I remember I seen a play, and this was against Wisconsin. I liked the play because I watched. It was several different things that was going on. A lot of combo blocks by the tight end and the tackle. I really enjoyed the fact that we had a lot of different things going on at one time. Remember what I told you about space? All
Yep.
quarterbacks like space, right? Running back run a smash route or a truck route coming out of the backfield. The tight end runs a corner. Defender falls down. That's actually covering the tight end. Had a backside drag from the slot receiver coming across the formation. Jalen pumps fakes him, hits the tight end on the drag. That wasn't Jalen last year. I don't think I
No.
ever seen Jalen did a pump fake. So to see Jalen actually going through progression, right? And again, it always helps to have those five guys in the front that block well. It always helps.
Yep.
But to see Jalen having that time, not looking at one receiver bailing, but looking through his receivers, going through first, from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, seeing what he does. And if three's not open, then you bail. Then you make something out of nothing. To see Jalen do that and have success and throw an accurate ball in the intermediate stage and the deep ball stage, just to see Jalen hit a check down, that's a plus for me. So if Jalen play like that for the rest of the season in these big games that we have coming up, yes, Jalen Milroe will be. Because remember, man, the NFL is going to that. You know who helping Jalen Milroe right now? Jaden Daniels.
Oh, 100
Jaden
with the
Daniels.
Commanders. Oh, that last game he put up. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No,
A fact.
100%. 100%.
Jaden
So,
Daniels' level of play, especially remember coming into his last season at LSU. The year before, it was kind of Jalen Milroe-esque.
yep.
His last year, which was this past season, coming into the season, it was very Jalen Milroe-like. He got better
Yep.
passing, he got better running, his accuracy got better. It was a competent offense, and you see it translate to the NFL.
Man, and dare I say this, the first deep shot he took to Ryan Williams, he actually tried to look off one of the safeties. And I was like, did he actually try to look off his safety?
Yeah.
Knowing where he was going and was going to have Ryan Williams? My mind about exploded when I saw that. I was like, okay, we're farther along than what we thought. And look, Nick Sheridan kind of pointed to this and he gave hints to this along with Kane Womack and that Alabama defense as well. But it just was how much were you paying attention throughout this season leading up to this? They said about 20% of the playbook was used, and that looked like to be the case in this instance. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. That's all we got for today. But Coach, I appreciate you coming on here. Obviously, you're always welcome. Just hit me up. Obviously, I'll be hitting you up for more videos coming up. But let everybody know one more time where they can find you at.
Yes, sir, John. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to everybody. Thank everybody for tapping in. Coach Shawn at JMHO Sports Talk. That stands for Just My Humble Opinion, if you forget the letters. That's on Twitter and YouTube. Just go to Twitter, follow me at JMHO Sports Talk, or look me up on YouTube, JMHO Sports Talk, on Twitter and YouTube.
All his information will be in the description below as well. So just open that up, click on that stuff. Guys, the very first Roll Tide Cafe live stream will be happening this Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Me, C.C. Payne, and Daniel Pettey, and also Bo Scarborough will be headlining that Thursday morning at 10 a.m. So make sure to check that out as well. Make sure to go over and check out Just My Humble Opinion. Coach SPH, as I like to always say, as the name says. Check out him. He's going live quite often, and he's always a guest, it seems like, on somebody's podcast or YouTube channel. So other than that, everybody have a good day. And as always, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, and big shout out to Alabama A&M University Bulldogs. That all one. Love you to death.